Okay, guys, there's been a lot of talk over the past few days of, like, why did Tribe 9 EOS? Why are they, like, packing up after just, like, less than 3 weeks or something of initial launch? And one possible reason that I've heard quite often is that the reason that they EOS is because they had too many male characters. And I just think that this is a very simplistic and reductionist way of thinking. I don't think that the people that are saying this, like honestly though, like, if you're joking about that, that's fine. I mean, I get that people are just joking, but the ones that actually be serious about this actually really think that the reason why this game EOS'd so soon is because it didn't have enough female characters in there, or that because they had too many male characters or whatever. I just think that you don't know just how much you don't know about these games at all. I was on the stream last night going through a bunch of different other games, not just Hoyo games, but just a lot of other gacha games in general, about which games, or which banners, should I say, have made the most money in recent years. And quite often, let's say, for example, Fate Grand Order, several times they have had male characters be the top-selling banner for the entire year, above a bunch of other more sexually appealing female characters as well. But that's getting to a different conversation. I don't really want to get into that just right now. What I want to talk about is that for the people out there that are saying this, I'm not saying you're doing that, or that you're saying that, or you're thinking that out of any sense of maliciousness. I just think that you don't know, and I wanted to throw it out there that there's a lot that you don't know, and that I would like to help you know and understand more about this, because for every game like Tribe 9 that goes EOS, there are another 10, 15, 20, 7 dozen others that EOS like every year that are filled with just nothing but girl characters, sexy characters and such. And so I just want to go through a short list of what games have done that in recent years, and then I'm going to go through why I think that Tribe 9 actually EOS, because I do think it's an amalgamation of different things. And I want to start off with a game that didn't EOS soon at all. Actually, it had quite a long lifespan. This is Alchemy Stars. Many of you may or may not know this game. Many Hoyoverse developers certainly know this game, I know that for a fact. This game launched on the 7th of June 2021, and then it's subsequently EOS'd just quite recently at the beginning of this year on the 24th, should I say, of January 2025, which is a total of 1,317 days of service, which is quite a long lifespan. I think, honestly, if I was going to say anything, that's actually a pretty good lifespan. That's how long I think these games probably should last. No game should be going on for in perpetuity, because you will eventually run into just stagnation and staleness, and it'll be really difficult to keep things fresh. So it's good to have a part where you cut the cord and say, okay, this is where the game is, and this is where the game finishes, and we're just going to move on. So there's this game here, Alchemy Stars. It had a plethora of many amazingly designed female characters, and that EOS'd quite recently. Another one that I want to talk about, and we're going to go like in order of like from ones that lasted the longest to games that lasted the shortest, and you'd be surprised about some that lasted the shortest. I'm going to say 60 days. Next game on this list is Final Gear. This came out on the 29th of September, my birthday in fact, 2021, and then it EOS'd on the 7th of May 2024, so a total of 951 days, which is again a pretty decent lifespan for a game of this type here. And as you can see on screen, there are many characters of varying designs, quite predominantly, I think if not exclusively, all female characters. Yeah, and yeah, I just checked. As I thought, it's pretty much exclusively female characters, except for when they had a collaboration event with Evangelion where you got Shinji in there. Get in the goddamn robot, Shinji. But even still, 951 days is nothing to sneeze at. That's just basically just a bit less than 3 years in total, which is still short in the grand scheme of things, but it's pretty decent. I mean, if people started from day one, they'd have a 3 years of playtime, which is more than many of these other standalone games out there are getting. So, but even still, the point of the matter is that this is a game full of beautifully designed female characters, and in the end, it wasn't enough to keep it going on for any longer than it did. Next game on this list is Illusion Connect. This came out on the 22nd of October 2020, and then it EOS'd on the 29th of December, right at the end of the year, 2022, which is a total of 798 days. Again, still, 798 days is nothing really to sneeze at, but when you've got games that are going on for like 4, 5, several other years, which in my opinion do a lot less than games like this Illusion Connect, and they're still going strong, I still think it's something to say there. And if you can tell on here, the designs of these characters are significantly more cultured compared to the other ones I've mentioned on this list, but still it wasn't enough to keep this game from eventually EOSing, because you need more in these games than just tits and ass, let's just be blunt about it. to keep people interested in gacha games, you know? Next game on the list is Black Rock Shooter Fragment. I actually really like the design of this game. They have a lot of characters with a lot of varying designs. Some a bit more conservative in the way that they're designed, or some which are pretty much instant woods from me. This game came out on the 24th of November 2022, and then it EOS'd on the 1st of March 2024. So it's a total of 463 days, which just a little bit more than 1 year. So be honest, guys, if there was another game that only lasted for a year or so, with a full lineup of male characters, I think we'd be having this conversation again. So, but this is going into like a bit of like speculation right now, at least for now anyway. It's not too out there of an assumption to think that if a game did come out with designs very similar to this, but just instead of all females, it would be all males, we would be having this conversation just as much anyway. And by this conversation, I mean people saying that the reason why it EOS'd is because it had nothing but male characters and no one wants male characters. We are having that conversation whether we like it or not, and it is kind of annoying, but here is an example of a game that did relatively well, and it's based on a really beloved IP, a beloved intellectual property, Black Rock Shooter, which is an offshoot of Hatsune Miku as well. Many amazingly designed characters in here, but it EOS'd in the end, and the reason why it EOS'd is, well, that's going into what I want to talk about later, so I'm not going to get into that right now. But I do think it's worth pointing out that even a game such as this, which has a lot of fantastically designed characters, didn't last all that long in the grand scheme of things. Another game that didn't last all that long is this one here, Atelier Resleriana. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's kind of a mouthful to say. This game also came out on the 25th of January 2024, and then it EOS'd on the 28th of March 2025. So just a couple months ago, which is another case of this game barely lasting just past the 1 year mark of a total of 428 days. So far we have all these games which are like at least making it past a year. This not nearly as short as what has happened with Tribe 9. So I can already hear people typing up in the comments like these games lasted far longer than Tribe 9, so why are we really making this comparison? Wait, just wait. But my point is though that these games, even though like they have almost an entire roster full, not entirely full, this one does have a couple of male characters in there, but predominantly female characters looking, I think they look pretty good. I like these designs for all of them. I mean, they might not be the best, but still, I think if these characters were designed in any other game that had more significant marketing, for example, I think they could sell quite well. But the fact of the matter is that this game only lasted a total of 428 days, which is still not that long in the grand scheme of things. So even a game that does have a mix of male and female characters, which is heavily predominantly female characters dressed in, I think, perfectly great designs in my opinion, didn't really last that long. Okay, this next game on the list is kind of cheating, but I'm going to give myself a pass on this because of course I will. This game here is called Symphogear XD Unlimited. I'm talking specifically about the global version of this right now. The global version was released on the 14th of February 2020, and then the EOS was announced on the 1st of May that same year, 2020, which is a total of 77 days since launch for the global release. But then the actual end of service, the day that it actually cut off, was at the end of July that same year. So a total of 168 days, which is not all that long. But this game, to be fair, this game did have a much longer lifespan in Japan. It started out a lot earlier. It had the benefit of being one of the more legacy games over here. So that's why it could get away with not having the best graphics or the best designs, because at the time when this game came out, most gacha games around that time were roughly about the same. So that's why it had already built up a bit of a following that led it to continue to be developed in Japan alone until I think it was like 2022, 2023. But still, the point is here that when it was released or attempted to be released for global, it didn't last that long at all, with their EOS announcement coming out a mere 77 days. But again, this is still not even close to the shortest game that I have found. And in fact, this next game caused quite a significant controversy over here in Japan that I don't think many people, or if any people in global, have even heard of this game, because from launch to not even the EOS announcement, but to EOS itself, was a grand total of 60 days. I am, of course, talking about Sakura Ignoramus. That is a fantastic name. It's just another case of Japan putting together some random English words and making it trying to sound cool or something. But this game launched on the 27th of February. You can actually see that behind my head over here in 2023, and that it announced its EOS not even a month, actually no, just over a month, should I say, 32 days later at the end of March, with its actual final end of service being at the end of April. So a grand total of 60 days from this game releasing to this game EOSing. This was a game that had been in development for upwards of 3 years, if I remember correctly. And when this came out, it was just mishandled so incredibly badly, and there's a lot of other particular issues that they had with this game. But that's going into a bit more of like what's the history of this game, but that's not really the scope of this video. My point is that even if you have a game which is predominantly, or if not exclusively, full of well-designed female characters, they can and will and have EOS'd in just a couple of months. It is possible, and it has happened before, as I've shown here. In fact, to prove my point that there are many more games out there that EOS than you guys probably realize, there's this site here from Coming Game, which has a list of all the games that have EOS'd from 2020 all the way to 2025. And if I just scroll through here, you can see many, many more up here. 125 days, 185 days, 226, 238, 242. And if I go, like, you got these other ones, which are considerably longer, like 4,833, so quite a long time, but you got other ones, 107, 119, 155. Let's go to the next year. There are significantly more. This is what I mentioned earlier, 60 days, 100 days, 104, 133, 82 days, 107 days, 123 days, 125 days. Going through to the next year, 29 days here, 36 days, 78 days, 94 days, 95 days. There are so many more games that have come out that are filled with beautiful looking female characters, having nothing but female characters that EOS quite soon, that you guys just don't realize. The only reason why you're like that you know about this one now is because it's the only one that has attempted to go to a global market, and it was not a game ready for global, like, at all. Like, I can scroll for quite a while. There's so many games on here, but some of them are longer lasting. But guys, when I say that Japan has too many gacha games, I wasn't kidding. It really has nothing to do with, and I'm talking about Tribe 9 right now, it has nothing to do with that game having quite a lot of male characters or not enough female characters, or however you want to phrase it. It has nothing to do with that. There were many significant problems with that game which led to it EOSing. Like you can see here on the official site, you can see that the gameplay is that you play the characters in this 2.5D environment with these 2D sprite versions of your characters in the main exploration. Like, some people may enjoy that, and I completely agree. Like, I don't mind this at all. Like, if I'm playing a Pokemon game, for example, or another like old school JRPG, I don't mind this. This is perfectly fine. But when you're releasing this game in this day and age of 2025, amongst all these other games out there, such as Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Xenoblade Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves, and then the upcoming games such as Arknight's Enfield, Neverness to Everness, Ananta, Azure Familia, and then also recently Silver Palace, among all these other games, which are looking really fantastic, and you're trying to hit it up here as a gacha game with these other games, with the big boys. You're trying to package a game that has this level of gameplay, this level of game design, and trying to sell it at the same rate as some of these big ones out here. It's just not going to work. I mean, this is just the exploration. Like, when you actually go to the combat here, you can see this is the level of combat that you're dealing with when you actually get the characters looking in some kind of remotely animated way. When you're playing in this mode here, you have an open battlefield with nothing really going on in the background. It's just basically nothing with like a fogged out cityscape in the background, and the enemy is looking extremely like full of polygons right now. The characters are you can't really see much of them like at all. The only time when you can see them is when you go into the character menu, and when you go into the character menu, even then there's not much activity or movement or any sense of real character going on there either. So in the exploration, you've got these 2D pixelated versions of characters, and when in the battle as well, you can't really see much going on, because this level of quality is something I could probably find from like 2015 game from the PlayStation 3 or something. Like, the actual gameplay itself might be good. Like, the actual system itself might be good. I'm pretty sure it is. Like, I was interested to play it myself, but when it comes to making money as a gacha game in this market, if you're trying to sell something with this level of quality at the same type of level as all these other ones, which are offering a significant more for their players, that just won't happen. Because right now, with the market as it is, if they had released this game maybe 2 or 3 years ago, then I definitely think that they could probably have survived quite a significant amount longer. But at this point in time, the market is starting to get really saturated. Like, it's becoming much more difficult for gacha games to break out and stay afloat more recently. Like, the level of quality has just been raised. The bar has been raised for what gacha players are expecting from their games. And when you are playing these games, even if you are free to play, you are spending your finite amount of time on this planet to put into playing these games. And time is money. So time is another version of currency that people are paying into this game, even if they're not paying money itself. And with all these other games, would you rather play this game with this level of graphics compared to other games out there? Would you rather play this game than say Wuthering Waves? And for people out there playing Hoyoverse games, would you rather play this game compared to Honkai Star Rail or Genshin? I mean, personally, even though I'm not really interested in Genshin like at all, clearly, I think I would actually prefer to play Genshin compared to this, at least in the current iteration of like what the level of quality, like the graphical fidelity that it has right now. And another thing that's really working against this game is that it's being developed by a Japanese company, which is a weird thing to say, but Japanese companies in general are extremely conservative in the way that they approach risk. Like, they are extremely risk averse to the point of being risk allergic. It's kind of insane, like just how much that they are willing to pull the plug on anything if it isn't showing an immediate amount of profit off the get-go. And I do feel like the developers for this game, like Akatsuki Games, they are trying to take an old gameplay style, Danganronpa for example. They're trying to take an old gameplay style with another old gameplay style with these pixelated models, mash them together and put these modern gacha mechanics on top of that. These things do not mesh well, like, at all. And I do also know that this game was also eventually free-to-play friendly, but it doesn't matter. If anything, that works against it. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself right now. When this game was initially released, the company behind this game, they were trying to implement like Japanese levels of gacha or stinginess. I mean, if you think a lot of these other gacha games right now are being too stingy, you have seen nothing yet. And for like a Japanese specific audience, maybe they could have gotten away with that. Clearly not. But when you're like expanding your reach to a global audience and you're trying to get all these people as well, trying to implement such draconian levels of gacha, like the way that they approach their gacha system, they were very, very draconian in the amount of rewards and also the way the gacha was laid out. And then once they got the significant backlash, they went from one extreme to the other extreme to become far too free-to-play friendly. And that also worked against it, because if it was too free-to-play friendly, then the players that want to play more casually, they don't need to swipe even for battle passes or something, so they're not putting money into the game. They're just enjoying the game for what it is. And the whales out there, again, the whales are wanting to spend money on things that they can get a significant amount of, for lack of a better word, pleasure out of. Like, they want to get characters that they really love the design of. And I don't know about you, some of these character designs look pretty good, but I do think like a fair significant amount of them, like, I cannot see anyone trying to pull for this character here, nor even this character here. No, not happening, not happening. I do realize the irony that the ones I'm pointing out right now are all male characters. I get it. If I remember correctly, the Shields was one of the first banner, like the paid banner characters that they had, and I don't think that this character is going to be selling, and not even because of like Coomerbait or lack of Coomerbait. It's nothing to do with that at all. I just think design wise, this design ain't it. It's not selling. Clearly, it didn't sell. So you have a combination of a very, very risk allergic Japanese company not seeing immediate profits after significant development time, with characters that are not designed that well. Even if you like those character designs, you got to admit that they're just not designed nearly as well. Maybe you like them, but they're not designed to the point of being sellable. And then you went from a very draconian gacha system, which turned off a lot of initial players, and then you went to a far more too free-to-play friendly gacha system, which didn't bring any money in, like, at all. On top of the exploration being with these pixel characters, and then the 3D animated versions, like in the battle, with an uninteresting background, and the character models themselves not being that great either. You've got all these things put together, and you have a recipe for a game EOSing. High overheads from the development cost to this not really all that appealing game. Like, if this game was a standalone game for Steam, maybe. I think this game is much more suited to be a standalone game on Steam. If they released this as that, I think it could have done pretty well. But as a gacha game, it's just not suited for it at all. And that's why it's EOSing, in my opinion. Like I said, I do not think that the reason for the EOS in this game is because of the lack of female characters or the plurality of male characters. I think thinking that way is very reductionist, very simplistic. It's a conglomeration, it's an amalgamation of all these things put together. It was a perfect storm of clusterfuck. I also want to point out as well that you do not need to appeal to Coomers to get the money. Like just today, in fact, let me just show you here. Just today, in fact, you can see up here, the top sales ranking right now is Gakuen Idolmaster. If this game here with these very, very wholesome looking schoolgirls can get the highest sales ranking still to this day, even though this game has been out for quite a while, if this game can still make money, then I think it goes to prove that you can make money without appealing overtly to Coomers. You do not need to do that. So people saying that they should probably go the Snowbreak route and that way they would have succeeded. No, I disagree. I think that even if Tribe 9 had nothing but female characters, and even scantily clad female characters, I still believe that that game would not have lasted much longer, if much longer at all. There was a lot more going against it than there was for it, unfortunately. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the situation, guys. I think there's a lot more about this, about the reasons behind this game announcing its end of service than just too many males or not enough females or whatever you want to say. Thinking that way is just, like I said in the beginning of the video, it's too simplistic and too reductionist, and it just proves just how little you know about these games in general. So yeah, guys, what do you think? I'm sorry for like rambling and ranting. This has been a completely non-scripted video as well. So if you like these kind of videos, make sure to let me know, and maybe I'll do some more in the future. But yeah, so until next time, I will see you in the next video. Peace.